our show on Sunday. Yeah, I believe all the women, but this is how it is with the guys. It's Sunday night. Honey, come in here and watch the television show.
I've been caught crying once or twice. Not too often, though.
And then what happens, of course, you walk in there and you look at that and go, that's Ty Pennington, isn't it? He looks good without a shirt on. I want to thank Tim. I call it the leap of faith. When you make that telephone call and you say, by the way, we really don't build houses in 7 days, it's just Hollywood, they're done in 106 hours. And you need to get everybody to volunteer, and every piece of wood, every nail, every stick of furniture is going to be donated. A lot of times builders will just say it's impossible. You can't do that. It's absolutely impossible. And you know what I love about this show is that everybody comes to it thinking they're going to change the family's life, but in the process they change their own life. Everybody comes to it and says, you know, you can't build a quality house in 106 hours. It's impossible. And thousands of people who've never met the family and never met each other come together and make the impossible happen. And in that process, realize that they can make the impossible happen for someone they don't even know. They can make the impossible happen for themselves. You know, I'm going to apologize to you for a couple of things. One, I have a speech impediment. I will destroy the English language several times today. And second, this is my 127th time to stand before y'all. And you'd think I would have the words to tell you what you're going to go through and what you're going to get out of it. And I have been so frustrated the Lord has not given me that voice. I wasn't sure I was going to come back for another season because of that frustration. And my wife said something to me one day. She said, honey, it's kind of like childbirth and warfare. You just got to go through it and come out the other side. There are no words. And I think she's right. And I said to Tim, I'll call you after you go through it and see if you can find those words for me. And every builder goes, you know, you're right. It's like childbirth and warfare.
And you won't know till we get to the other side.
I've been asked, you know, how did this show come about? And it was April of '03. We're not ABC. We're a company called Lock and Key Production. And the way to look at this is the metaphor is ABC's a builder. They have the dream, they have the vision, but they need subs and trades to actually build that house. We're the subs and trades for television. ABC came to us and said, you know, there's all these cable shows on about remodeling houses. We'd like to have a prime time version of that. I want you to pitch us an idea. That's Hollywood talk for coming up with a concept, pitching an idea. And so you got to remember that network executives aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. So you have to have kind of an easy ideal for them. And so we went in there and we said, okay, how about 7 designers, 7 days, remodel house? And they went, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And I almost had a heart attack. I can't even nail a nail straight. And I said to myself, how am I going to figure this out? We're going to have to do this. So I said to the casting department, I said, look, what I want you to do is I want you to go to Home Depots and the lumber yards and any place where they're selling, nails and caulking materials. And when you see someone walk out, hand them a flyer and say that we're doing this television show and would they like for us to remodel the house for them. And I said at the same time, you know, there's going to be at least, 60, 70 subs and trades. And there's going to be at least 50 of us, and so we need some room. How about 2,800 square feet? I mean, we got to have some room to work in. And so every day the casting department would give me a list, and I would drive up to a house, and as I drive up, there would be a Mercedes in the driveway. And I'd get out and walk inside and go, I want that kitchen. Walk into the master bathroom and go, I want that master bathroom. In most cases, it was larger than the house I was living in. And I kept asking myself, why would anybody want to watch a television show about remodeling houses for people who obviously could afford to remodel their own house? And so out of frustration, I grabbed a bunch of flyers and I got in my car and I started driving around Los Angeles, and I was up in a place called Canyon Country. And I came around the corner, beautiful houses, 1970 California style ranch house. 3-4 bedrooms, very affordable, $700,000, $800,000, California. And I came around the corner, and in the middle of the neighborhood, right in the middle, is the nastiest house you've ever seen in your life. I remember the yard was dead. And there was a couple broken windows, and there was cardboard in those windows, and it had a shake roof, and that shake roof was peeling backwards. And I thought to myself, well, if it's raining outside, it's bound to be raining inside too. And standing in front of this house is this cutest blonde you ever seen in your life with a paintbrush in her hand, just staring at this thing. Little 8-year-old girl. And I stopped and I went, this is perfect. But it's like 1,200 square feet. It's tiny. So I drove away. For some reason, I put it in reverse and I backed up and I looked at it and I'm talking to myself and I drive off and I put it in reverse and I back up and I do this 3 or 4 times. And she sees this over her shoulder and sends the little girl inside. So I figured the sheriff's gonna have me on the ground in about 5 minutes, so I just got out of the car and walked up to her and I said, why is your house the nastiest house on the block? And she said, Mr. Ricketts, that little girl I sent inside, for 4 years now we've been fighting leukemia. And she's been in remission, but every dime we've had has gone to save her life, and we haven't had any money to fix up the house. And I knew at that moment that was the soul of this television show. I knew at that moment it was the barn raising in the 1900s. It's about bringing together your friends, your community, finding a builder, subs and trades, and making a difference. That set us on the first path, that first family. That is who we are and what we believe in. The reason why I've asked you here today is I want you to volunteer so that you can see how this is done. Because once you volunteer, once you see how this is done, you will realize you do not need us. You don't need Ty Pennington, you don't need Hollywood, you don't need cameras to make a difference in your own neighborhood. What I'm talking about is one day you're going to look out across the yard, down the street, and see that old lady you've seen all your life that you waved at, you've known, and one day she's in a wheelchair looking at a bunch of steps and doors you can't get through. You can bring together your neighbors and build a ramp. Not about building a house, just a ramp in one day to make a difference. I got a letter the other day from a man who said, I knew the neighbor across the street from me beside me, but until y'all came, I didn't know everybody in the neighborhood. And when you left, my little girl, she said, Daddy, old Mrs. Jones' roof is leaking. Can we do our own extreme makeover home edition? So he gathered up all the neighbors that he'd met. And they went to Home Depot and they said to the manager what they were going to do. And the manager said, well, if all the neighbors are coming together and you're volunteering your time, I'll give you the materials and supplies. And that neighborhood built Mrs. Jones a new roof. It is our heart and soul and prayer that once you go through this, you're going to be able to make a difference. We get 3,000 to 5,000 applications a day, 10,000 to 15,000 people a week contact us. And there's only 22 families we can help. But you can help many more. You can make a difference. Join us. See how we do it. And then pay that forward. Help someone else. Without you, I would not be here. We simply know how to make a television show. You know how to build a house. You know how to make a difference. You know, this is a part of the world in which the words family, extended family, neighborhood, community are not words or deeds. You are known for that, and that's the reason why we're here. And we are blessed to be with you today. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.